Who's that?
I said, it would take Sandra her slice, so this way you can pack all your stuff up.
Where did that come?
All right.
Negative K, nothing further, just take care of me in the corner. That's a direct order. Do it now.
Go ahead, Derek. I guess Don's not back.
All right. He's back. He's back. Yeah.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Black, White, and Roll Call, Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. And I'd just like to introduce you to the great panelists that we have. We have with us, we have D Schoon, we have Tyrone Green, Aaron Cross, Mark Matthews, Will Quick, Cheech Herrera, Rich Jordan, Donald Butler just stepped off. We have Mr. James Thomas, Miss Jerry Barrows, otherwise known as Haley Jerry, and Mr. Jim Kiernan. All right, and we'd like to thank you all for joining us. And we are going to have a moment of silence.
There's a hero if you look inside your heart. You don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside your way. that a hero lies in you. That a hero lies in you.
That was really, really
Good.
cool. I like
Very
that.
cool.
D school, man.
Good
That
job,
was
D.
And
fire.
two
That was
things,
fire.
two things that I took from it. One, I was actually surprised to see that CJ was taller than someone. And the other thing is, you Hempstead cops have a lot of time to take pictures. You guys had a lot of time on your hands, man.
Hey,
I'm
Derek,
sorry about that.
Derek, you know what's funny? Just toward the end of my career, I said, let me start taking pictures of me in my uniform. So at least down the road when I'm gone, they'll have something to post. So D, I appreciate you putting that up there and being able to see what everybody gonna see after I'm gone.
There we go. There we go. All right. We're gonna have Cheech do our disclaimer, and then we're gonna have Rich do our statement of purpose. Here's Rich.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Before we get started, wanted to go over a couple of things. First and foremost, want to let you know that the comments made by members of Roll Call are the opinions of each individual. They are not intended to be any type of legal advice, recommendation, suggestion. Remember that the laws change from state to state, village to village, city to city. So make sure you consult with a local police department or a local attorney for any advice. Also, in order to spark our conversations, we do display videos and photographs, some of which may be graphic in nature. They are not intended to offend anybody. We get these from social media like YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, so you have access to them. They are not the property of Roll Call. If there's a video that is kind of graphic, one of our members will let you know ahead of time so you can decide to look away or not pay attention to it. Also, the language used by members of Roll Call is very spontaneous. It is uncensored. Everybody here speaks from the heart. We speak our truth. We don't hold back. Please don't take offense to it. We don't. You'll see that sometimes we do not agree on some things and might go back and forth, but we never take it personal and don't take offense, so we hope that you don't. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please post them on the chat, and one of our members will address it as soon as we can. Thank you. Rich?
Excellent, Cheech. And is Rich back? There we go, Rich. Our statement of purpose.
Yes, welcome to Roll Call, Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. We are a pro-law enforcement group. We're for equitable policing. We're against racism, and Black and brown lives matter. We come to each week in an attempt to bridge the gap between law enforcement and your community. We're glad you're here with us.
All right, and for the people that are on this panel, we have some people that obviously have gone through some things or are going through some things, and we'd like to just extend our prayers out to JT and Orlando, to Cheech and Anna, to Rich and Isabel, and to Monique, who is Mark's sister-in-law. So to Mark, his wife Dawn, and family, prayers to you. And to one of our listeners, Miss Renee Henderson, who is on every week with us. Renee lost her mom yesterday. Oh. And we'd like to send our prayers out to Renee and her family. All right. And we will be, we'll have Mr. D bringing up a video for us so we can get the show started.
All right. So our first video is gonna take us back about a week ago. We had what was reported to be an assassination attempt on our president, and just let me say, as a line supervisor, field supervisor, my job was to see what's going on real time, and then make the adjustments. We want to show you this video because there's only one member that was doing their job during this whole thing. And it looks about 30, 35 people in the lobby, but only one member doing their job. Let's take a look real quick.
Y'all not gonna believe this. Check this out. You see the shooter walk into the room? You see the firearm detection K9 follow him? He's on his ass right now. Tough.
And they pulled
the
him
cop
away.
pulls him off him. He goes back. Firearm detection K9 goes back. Only one doing his job. So, I'm curious, how is everybody except the dog not fired right now?
Questions.
Right. Do we have anyone that has anything to say there?
What a great question by the narrator.
Now show us the real tape.
Yes. Okay. I see D, you have your hand up.
So I'm gonna speak from I used to love the K9s. I guess if I had a different career trajectory, it would have been either the motorcycle, the K9. I'd have probably jumped out a few helicopters. I don't know. I wanted to do everything. So I love the K9s because actually later in my career, when I was doing a lot of drug stuff, you got to trust those K9s. There's one thing I would tell anybody that's working. When there's no gap in the truck and the K9 is sitting down and most people are going, let's get out of here. And you go, you got to trust that K9. They're aware of things that we're not. Them by now using their nose. This K9 had it right. He went after the bad guy. He did his job. He was pulled away. He said, no, sir. He went right back in. This is what you need to look at. Then he was pulled away. It's important for us to trust in our tools. For me, there's two ways of thinking of that. That officer just wasn't on his game. That dog goes for something. At the worst, you guys know the K9 alerts on something. You got to at least check it out, right? You got to at least search the guy. You got to what's in your bag, what's in your coat, because he's keying in on it. My little dogs. I got 2 dogs. Full disclosure, they smell the air and they can smell things out. I'm like, what are you smelling? And then later on, I know, half a mile away, you smell that. What the heck? They're good like that. So this is a good clip because we should really trust in our tools. In this one, our K9. And second of all, it gives me an aha moment as to why was he pulled away twice? 2 times. I'll leave it there.
That's a very, very good question. And up next we have Cheech.
Yeah, D hit it on the head. The K9 hit. You had to check it out, if anything. And then if you look after the second time when he pulls him away, it's literally 1 to 2 seconds before the shooter runs out of that room already with the weapon out. And the officer was looking right into that room with the dog. It raises a lot of questions. Like that is just, I don't know. It's unexplainable. Because that was very quick. What was he doing in that room? To me, he's already standing there with that weapon out. The way he ran out, so that was just very suspect. That's all I got to say. But you hit it on the head. Once that K9 hit, especially in that scenario, in that situation, and you know why that K9 is there and who he's protecting, and you don't at least check it out. When the dog pulled on you twice, something's wrong. That's all I got.
Excellent. Up next we have Will.
From my experience, And by all means, someone please check me if I'm not on my game. Canine utilization has some very specific functions. One is apprehension of a fleeing bad guy. Two is search and rescue, where they are trying to track down someone that may be a walk-off or missing person or cadaver dog. Three is detection, whether it's bomb or drug detection. So far, am I tracking? So you had a canine there at that event. There weren't no missing people, so he won't there looking for anybody. He wasn't directed to apprehend anyone because they don't arbitrarily just run after people typically. So he wasn't directed to apprehend anyone, so he was not in that phase. So there was something that got that canine's attention from the standpoint of detection. Now, it's any number of officers around there that have guns, that have bullets in those guns, so there's gunpowder. At the end of the day, and this is the question I have not seen anyone ask the director of Secret Service, anyone ask the director of the Department of Justice, or the DA for that district. What, Piro is her name? No one has asked this question. Please explain to the audience what it was that dog was doing and why none of the officers took heed to that dog's indication beforehand, if the security is what it was supposed to be. I've not seen anyone ask that question. And when you're looking at it from a law enforcement standpoint, and you have to ask yourself, is this a ruse? We don't want to have to think about it that way, but we have to follow the evidence. We have to follow what is most plausible and what evidence there is to support that story. All of us have responded to a call and somebody gave us a story that we knew right off the gate, eyebrow raised, that don't even sound right, but I'll hear you out. And I'm going to the other place that I need to go to collect whatever statements or evidence to try to corroborate or to disprove your story. But when the board is already set up to create a narrative and you didn't, and this is how ignorant they are, you didn't factor in a piece that you can't control, which is the dog. The dog ain't in on the deal, like D said. He don't know what doing his job. If you didn't want the dog to be a part of this narrative that could blow up your story, you need to have that dog somewhere else. He ain't working for Scooby Snacks. I'm good.
They should have gone to ask the FBI director under the table. Oh, wait, did I say that out loud?
All right, up next we have JT.
Yeah, D, you might be able to say yes or no to this. Purpose of the dog is to detect something, correct?
Absolutely.
And after you detect something, you go towards it, correct?
Absolutely.
So the dog was smarter than the officer.
All of them.
He had twice to proceed to see what the dog was talking about. He didn't do it neither time. But they'll blame the officer for being stupid.
The dog won't follow the script. He won't smarter than him. He just won't follow the script. He was disobedient.
I don't understand it. I mean, that's the reason you got the dog out there, is to detect something that you can't. And he had 2 times to follow that guy, see what he was up to. That's all I got.
All right, Tyrone.
Everybody, that video is going to serve as the almost demise of this whole scenario because of that dog. Because anybody knows anything about any kind of law enforcement scene, a command center, command post, or something like either like Dee said, either they're looking for somebody, looking for drugs, or looking for guns, and those canines are extremely specific in what they're there to do. They prep the dog for the scene, and once they get on scene, it's a game to them that they want to play. They're looking for a treat, so they're not messing around. They want their treat. And the first indication, the main indication of something that is unusual going on. When I say unusual, that it's a situation that is planned of some sort, is the fact that that dog hit twice and nobody went in that room. That dog hit once, the average canine cop want the arrest. They go on the chase. Am I right, D?
Yep.
Because they don't get a whole lot of arrests. They get the evidence, but don't get a chance to make the arrest. That dog going to hit, he going to run in there. And the fact that it hit twice within 20 seconds, and he didn't even walk, he pulled the daggone dog away. Like, boy, didn't you read the script? What's wrong with you, dog? This is not your point. So that's there's several other things about that day with the videos that they showed us. We'll talk about it later on in the show. That gives the intelligent mind, even if you're a layperson, you don't have to be an officer to realize that why is that dog going right and that cop going left? I thought the cop was to follow the dog. A person would know that who's not a police officer. So I won't steal the thunder from a couple of videos, but I'll stop there.
All right. Now I saw Mark had his hand up and he removed it. You good, Mark? Okay, so JT, you're back, and then we have Jim.
Yeah, dear. One question, might be two. On each dog trained for a certain thing, like a drug dog, a gun dog. I mean, a gun dog can sniff for guns, can't sniff drugs, or can they be trained to sniff for both?
Yeah, usually it's singular in what they want to find. That's the best dogs. Every once in a while, you'll find them cross-designated because the dog's that good. The dog, you can teach him to. So every once in a while, but usually, yeah, singular. They sniff out one thing.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and Jim.
Isn't it just amazing that we cannot believe one thing that comes out of this White House? Nothing. Look at all these so-called assassination attempts. What do we know about them? Who did it? Where are they? Are they in jail? Are they being questioned? Everything just kind of disappears. It's just unbelievable. And this video, I don't think you could get a better video to show how nonsensical the whole thing is. I mean, really. Guy comes in, somebody gets hit in the vest. I think they fired 5 shots at him. They didn't hit him, crazy stuff. That's all.
Yeah, and Cheech and then Rich.
Yeah, Jim touched on the point that I wanted to bring up. It doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what we saw. We already know he's the master of deflection. They got busted. This video proves it, but in a couple of weeks, this will be old news. We're not even going to talk about it. The man had his ear blown off, right? And it miraculously grew back. No news of that. No close-up pictures of ear. So it doesn't matter. He's the master of deflection. Something is going to come up in the next week or two, and this is going to be old news, and that's it.
And what's going to happen is when gas hits $6 a gallon, everyone's just going to talk about that, and and then everything else will be pushed to the wayside. Rich,
yeah, dogs that have different focus, and this particular dog was a bomb dog, and but somehow he tracked the suspect. Like you said, they can't do 2 different things, but normally a bomb dog focus is just bomb only, doesn't do anything else.
How about gunpowder? Could it be the gunpowder in the rifle? Would that be the same?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they do vapor tracking also as well. So this particular dog's role was just bomb only, explosives, ammunition, whatever, and the whole thing just reeks of a scam. And here they are. Everybody's inside the meeting hall for the dinner. They're done, but there's still the checkpoint open. You saw a guy pulling down the mag. I think if you're going to turn your back on the front to pull a mag down, you need to have the door secure. It only makes sense. Why have yourself open to somebody running through? when everybody's inside already. You're pulling the mag down to shut the doors first. So and then later on they have an image of Trump on the side of the stage watching the chaos that's still inside the room. Instead of him being removed away, there really is a threat towards him, moved out of the facility. He's in the wings watching because he wants to be entertained by people, in the audience. So the whole thing just reeks of a scam, like every other assassination attempt. It's all a scam just to direct everybody's attention somewhere else, in sympathy for him. But it's a joke. It's laughable. We all know. Everybody here's a trained detective. It's garbage. That's all I got.
Quick.
Let's go to Ty real quick. He's been waving his finger, and then I'm
So,
going to
I
the
know it's all
comments.
good, Derek. I just want to say, if you're talking about the man's ear was shot off, Google Evander Holyfield's ear and look what happened in his ear with just a simple bite.
Right.
Imagine if you got hit with a puck. Imagine, Derek, if you got hit with that
Right,
round. What
right.
his ear would look like. Any
And
piece of his
Evander
ear.
Holyfield's ear is still damaged.
Exactly my point. And my other
Yeah.
point is also a clear indication. Go talk about the room where the event happened, where they started removing people out of the room. They removed the vice president before they removed the president. When in history have the Secret Service ever ran? They would run the vice president over to get to the president if it was really a situation. Am I right? Or am I wrong, Rich?
No, you're right.
Is that right? They would shoot the vice president to get to the president if they got to. They would get rid of him out of the way. So that and one guy was in the audience eating still. Come on, man. Come on, man. He's cutting his
He had a
steak
good
right
part.
now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. D.
No problem. Will, you are.
Love to our audience that's consistently with us week in, week out. We got Richard Bowden, Beverly Harleston Wells, Melissa Sutherland Moss. Melissa Sutherland Moss says, "Good job, D. Schoon. Very nice tribute." Ruth Cathy, Brian Camp, Karen Cathy. Richard Bowden says, "Those liberal journalists are too wimpy to ask that question." I feel you on that, Richard. I wish it was that simple, but I feel you on it. Donald Coleman says, "You're right, Jim. You think that they are all planned?" Yeah. Brian Camp says 3 assassination attempts. 2 were by Republicans and this one by an independent. Interesting. Natasha Jackson says motor scooters. I'm not sure what that's in relation to. Karen Caffey says allegedly, y'all will get a kick out of this one. Allegedly, the maxi pad helped the ear grow back. And FYI, gas is over $6 a gallon in Los Angeles. And Natasha Jackson says gas prices keep going up. Y'all, I'm here to tell you this whole thing with that K9 and that whole situation is just unbelievable. But we're not gonna beat this one. I'm sorry, Derek. Go back to your thing, man.
No problem. And I just as far as this situation goes, I was wondering, why would this guy come in and go into a room or a closet instead of through the metal detector? And obviously that was the plan because the officer followed him right there. Also, when the officer pulled the dog back 2 times, the officer was still looking in the room so he could see what the guy was doing. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Like if the dog is kind of alerting and the officer's looking, it seemed like Will and D, what you said, everyone knew the script except for the dog.
Exactly.
Everyone knew the script.
Exactly.
And as far as the other people that have supposedly attacked Trump and no one knows where they are, they're in the witness protection program somewhere. They're, this is just my opinion, but I think, like people may have gotten taken care of, but we'll see. Time to tell.
What they did in the Running Man movie? They convinced some of those folks that they won and they put them up there like they won. But then when you get in there, it ain't designed for you to get out.
Yeah. All right, D, will you take us to the next video, sir?
Okay, let's go to let's stay in DC. How about that? Sometimes we don't know what to believe, and here we have the Metro PD in DC. They have a little change at the top. It's sort of an interim period. There's a big conversation about the change. Some say the change is not called for, but they're having some issues with the crime. Derek can probably give us a little more on the crimes that are reported and how that works. Derek can probably give us a little bit on that. Let's take a look.
Tonight, Mayor Muriel Bowser warning of repercussions for top officers accused of faking crime stats. The police union is now calling the scandal corruption within the department. Bob Barnard has more on the fallout.
This is a scandal that has rocked the D.C. Police Department, angered leaders on Capitol Hill, and has D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser dealing with a crisis of confidence in a police department over which she has ultimate authority. At issue, the suspensions of 13 senior MPD officials accused in an alleged scheme to alter crime statistics in the city, to make the streets seem safer than they were and are. Through its own ongoing internal affairs investigation, the department is now in the process of trying to fire those 13 officials, serving them with paperwork to effect their terminations.
Everyone deserves to feel safe.
Including Executive Assistant Chief Andre Wright, placed on administrative leave a couple of months ago, an official who was often the face of MPD at crime scenes. Who ultimately ordered the crime stat revisions remains a mystery. Reaction now from D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser and the president of the D.C. Police Union.
At some point, I guess MPD will talk about the categories of crime that experience changes, and what is going to be really key and I suspect it's in all of these recommendations for termination, is if this is deliberate, if it is meant to make the official look good and not show what's actually happening, there are repercussions for that.
We've been here for 6 years now. We've been short 800 police officers, and we've been told repeatedly, well, crime is down. Well, crime is down. You don't need to fix that gap. But crime has not been down. Not at all. And these 35 and 40% drops in crime categories that they've been reporting, we're now learning have been a lie.
This scandal remains under the microscope of the House Oversight Committee and the Office of the D.C. Inspector General. The process of firing these MPD officials could take several months.
All right. So okay, Mel, I see your hand up, so I will let you go.
DC Police Chief Pamela Smith had a send-off ceremony last week, but she is
my bad.
End of the year. This afternoon, I caught up with the man moving in Chief Smith's.
My fault.
We good to go?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Unfortunate for the residents of the Metropolitan Police Department area. Listen, when the officers there, first of all, look at the fact that they not let go, but under investigation is 13 high-ranking officials in that police department. So that's going to diminish a lot of seasoned veterans that are working in that area to solve crimes in the Metropolitan Police Department. And, it's a disservice to the residents in that area. And what kind of had me startled was that they said that the investigation is going to take place internally with the members from that department. So I'm not really sure that how that's going to pan out. I kind of think that maybe some type of external forces should come in to do the investigation so they can really find out what happened and root out the individuals that are corrupt, and so that they could get down to who is really actually telling the truth, man. So that's what I got to say with that.
Right. Next up, we have Will.
I didn't catch it. Maybe somebody else did. What was the window of time that they said that these numbers had been manipulated and had been downplayed? Anybody know what the window was? And the reason why I asked, and irrelevant, they didn't say. So the reason why I asked that question is, if you all remember, DC was one of the places where National Guardsmen and Border Patrol were dispatched to. And at the time, the that was coming out there, whether supported by crime stats or not, was that DC was so dangerous, and that by the federal government or this administration deploying federal agents, if those numbers correspond with the time frame when that was done, because that rooster's still crowing about how safe DC is based upon what they did with dispatching those federal agents to DC. Now, when it comes to crime statistics, we all know, being in this game, and probably Mark, not to say that this is not a reflection about, but you know how crime statistics can be displayed in a lot of different ways to be able to justify things. One of the ways that they can be displayed is to justify the need for staffing. So they oftentimes will use call for service, or they'll tell officers, whatever call you go on, you make sure you write a report, because the reports go into formal statistics, versus there may be times, oh, well, you don't have to write a report on that. But if you're trying to create numbers to justify need for additional staffing, that's one of the strategies that is utilized. It's not misleading the public. It's just a different way of how you categorize stuff, whether you document everything or only those things that actually there is a crime to investigate. So there seems like there needs to be a few more details that need to come out with regards to this, particularly the window of time that these crime stats were altered for, and what message it was that they were trying to send with regards to that.
Next, we have Mark.
Yeah, that's a good point, Will. The word you were looking for, I believe, was manipulated. So another aspect, I won't go over what you said because you were on point, but another aspect is a lot of times municipalities get money for effective policing. And if you can control those numbers, you can get more money, whether it's staffing, equipment, or just, whatever funds your department can get, future training, etc. So manipulation is definitely against the law if you're caught. Usually DOJ will put out specific guidelines so that doesn't happen. But unfortunately, can it happen? As we see, yes, it can. So that's just one of the things. But if it's investigated properly, people can get locked up for that, because you're submitting those records. It's governmental records. And if you're lying on it, it's basically like perjury. So you can get called to task for it, whether that happens or not. And I think that was really good aspect that you said, Will, as far as, was this during the same time period that the National Guard was inserted? Because that makes a major explanation of what happened. I'm done.
Right. And so as far as the statistics go, just from my experience, in the mid-90s, the three departments in New York City merged: transit, housing, and NYPD, all merged and became one. Bratton became the commissioner of police, and one of his deputy commissioners was a former lieutenant from the transit police department. His name was Jackie Maple. Jackie Maple created what was called CompStat. And so these monthly CompStat meetings would occur, and CompStat was short for computer statistics. And each month they would get together all of the commanding officers, from each respective bureau and borough, and they would have a meeting, and the chiefs would sit in the front of the room at the dais, and they would have their computers, and they would have information based on week-to-week statistics from the year before versus this year, month-to-month statistics based on the year before versus this year, and year-to-year statistics based on the year before versus this year. And it became a big point of contention because the commanding officers used to get chewed out. They used to get chewed, and I've been to the meetings. They would get chewed out like they were 5 years old, and they would get chewed out in front of all the other commanding officers and the chiefs and whatnot. So to save the investment and two, to make sure that their numbers were good so that they could get potential promotions, they started making sure or finding ways to change numbers. And I'm not speaking from speculation or innuendo. I've heard this personally. I've literally heard the commanding officer of detectives in one of the commands I worked in say to a detective, well, see if you could get the lady to say she sat her bag down. Because if the bag was taken while it was sitting down, it's a petit larceny versus if it's taken off the person and it's a grand larceny. A petit larceny is a misdemeanor, a grand larceny is a felony. So they used to try to do things to fudge the statistics that way. And it was commonplace. It was commonplace. It was done by desk officers, it was done by detectives, by commanding officers of detectives. Sometimes COs would tell their administrative lieutenant, see if you could talk to this person and see if we can get this changed. But numbers were being fudged. If you're a captain and you want to make deputy inspector and your numbers are looking bad across the year, you're not going to get promoted. But if your numbers are looking fantastic, when the promotions come around, they come around probably 3 times a year, you might be one of the lucky ones to get promoted. And like I said, I've seen it personally. If we have some people from my former police department watching, they're probably saying, don't say that. The truth is the truth. And I've seen it personally. And that's what I have to say. And Mark, we have you.
Yeah, you're right. You made a good point, Derek. And another thing is like burglaries. So you get a burglary attempt at your house, the police show up and they didn't enter the house. So then they lodge it as criminal mischief.
Criminal mischief, yes.
So now that knocks it down. It's not a burglary attempt, even though, you know, the window was pried open and somebody just about got in the house and one of the neighbors called and they ran off. Oh, they're going to write it down. Oh, it's just criminal mischief. It's damage to your house. You report it to your insurance company, and that's that. So, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of ways to change the numbers.
Yes. And it's so commonplace that I'm not surprised that they have 13 people. There's probably a lot more people that they should have, but they probably pick from the highest level of the tree instead of going down the tree. And we have Cheech.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick that we know it happens, and it happens the other way too, because I know that stats have been played with to get more funding, you know, so it happens the opposite way where you make them a little bit higher so that you can get more money for whatever type of program you're trying to run. So we know it happens. It's been happening and it's going to continue to happen.
Yes, it is. And Will.
Just a couple of comments. Richard Bowden, related to the previous story, says the vice president has a separate security detail. Vance's detail doesn't give a damn about Trump's safety. And he's right. The way that Secret Service operates, they are assigned to individuals and you are specific to that individual. Even if the other team ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing with the person that they're assigned to, you stay on who you were assigned to because that's the people that you train with. So the appearances of what went on there could very well have been just like when he was up in Pennsylvania and he was working against Secret Service, whether that was in the script or not. But he just basically said, listen, I'm not going anywhere. I want to see what's going on. I need to make sure that this ruse is doing what it needs to do. With regards to the manipulation of data, I can tell you from working down here, when the discussion really started about bias-based policing and disproportionate impact, one of the areas that they started focusing on was specifically traffic stops and particularly regulatory stops. What they started doing down here was made us do what's called traffic stop reports. Some people call them racial profiling reports. I never liked that wording. But what that did was it allowed for them to collect in a dedicated database the demographics of people that were stopped and what they were stopped for. And of course, it's some of that information where if you saw an overwhelming amount of a particular demographic being stopped, then you stop right there analyzing the data. You don't look at the fact of, okay, this might be representative of the demographic, but did it occur to you that there also might be low-income demographic? Or did it occur to you that these stops took place in a community where it was overwhelmingly represented by that demographic, and the call volumes that we would get there meant that traffic stops was a means to try to push that call volume and that crime rate down? So they don't look at a lot of the other ancillary information to go along with that. They want to just pull out whatever is going to justify the narrative, the conclusion that they've already drawn to. In other words, it's not evidence-based. So when they get that information, it could still be accurate, but if they don't put it together in proper context, and it doesn't sound like this situation is that, but just with regards to that reporting, you have to put it in context to give people an honest view of what the information means.
Well said, Will. Well thought out. Up next, we have Jim.
Yeah, that's very interesting subject. And I want to just back up what Cheech was saying, because in my career as a desk lieutenant, it was my job to actually put down what the crime was going to be after all the facts were told to me and written down into the reports. And I found it to be quite the opposite, that because a lot of police officers, especially uniformed police officers, looking to make detectives, they want to put a lot of felonies on their record, and there's also an overtime thing involved. There's all kinds of reasons to make it the other way. And I mean, I could tell you horror stories where I'd scratch my head and say, "You got to be kidding me!" You know, that's not going to fly. But you know, so it is it does go both ways. And I know what Derek was saying is that an absolute. I mean, from that CompStat stuff, that's huge. And I could see inspectors telling their commands, "Hey, you know what? Lowball this stuff. But on the other side of the coin, you have street cops looking just to go the other way. Let's see if we can bring it up. But you're supposed to have that, you know, middle management lieutenant that's supposed to kind of be the guidepost to do the right thing, up or down, and keep it honest."
Yeah,
So,
on
that's all.
NYPD, it would be very hard for a cop to do it because a supervisor has to approve the arrest. So whenever a cop makes a collar, a supervisor has to go to the scene. He has to talk to the cop, see what happened, and then he determines what the charges are going to be. So, you know, so it would be hard for them to bump it up because the sergeant's going to come and say, "Listen, you have XYZ," and then they take it in and take it to the desk. So,
That would be,
you know,
that would be like the lieutenant's job in Hempstead was like the sergeant's job in a city for that.
right. So it would be hard for them to do it, but not to say it couldn't be done. It would just be hard. Okay, and we have Mark.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. I guess it slipped through our resident civilian, DOJ, Department of Justice. I just wanted to clear that up for our audience more than anybody else. Jerry was thinking it, but she didn't react to it.
Caller,
He's reacting now.
Yeah, she's throwing up.
Jerry,
I was just
caller-
telling Mark, I knew what DOJ was. I'm just saying, I knew.
How about
And
caller, Jerry?
CJ, you missed the beginning where D played a slideshow of all the different pictures of us in uniform and whatnot. And I did proudly announce that in one of the pictures you were taller than someone. You were standing next to Melba and you were a little bit taller than her.
I am taller than Melba.
And
y'all, I want to tell y'all,
Melba's taller than me, y'all. Melba's
I
taller
was the
than me.
tallest, shortest person female on the job.
It's me. It's me.
Yeah. All right. If no one else has anything to say about that subject, then D can take us to the next video.
Well, thank you, Will, for telling us about NYPD CompStat and captains, because this captain is going to have a bit of a problem. We're gonna go to an NYPD where a captain, and when we come back, let's talk about how you're supposed to carry yourself, especially in uniform. Had some choice words to say. Let's take a look.
This video, widely shared on social media, shows an NYPD captain calling Mayor Zoran Mamdani an embarrassment and total nonsense.
Your boss. He's your boss. He's your boss. Exactly.
The 40-second clip circulating online comes after weekend ICE protests and several arrests outside Wyckoff Heights Medical Center. An NYPD spokesperson says Captain James Wilson has now been transferred from the 94th Precinct in Brooklyn to the department's call center in the Bronx as the disciplinary process plays out. The spokesperson adds NYPD policy prohibits an on-duty officer from publicly expressing their political opinions. The video ends with Wilson talking about Democrats.
All Democrats say no, based on human rights.
In an unrelated news conference Monday, Mayor Mamdani said he did not see the video. We followed up today, and his office referred us to the NYPD. We reached out to the Captain's Endowment Association for comment, but have not yet heard back. Outside the 94th Police Precinct, Tim Harfman, News 12.
All right, first up we have Jim and we have AC.
First word comes out of my mouth is disgusting. First word, disgusting. You have the nerve as a uniformed captain, New York City captain, to say that Democrats are a waste of the human race in a city that you serve in that's predominantly Democratic. You know, let's you know, a lot of the media are trying to get it to what he said about Mamdani. Forget about what he said about Mamdani. Just saying anything at all negative about the citizens of the city of New York should get him those two bars should come right off his shoulders. And he's lucky. I wish I was in charge of his discipline. I really do. That's all I got to say.
All right, next up we have AC.
Yeah, I just want to make a bet. I'm almost certain he lives in Staten Island. The reason why
You gotta go to the Bronx.
Two tolls. Two tolls.
I'm almost certain he lives in Staten Island while he wait for his firing. Basically.
Or maybe Massapequa.
Yeah, Jim.
Massapequa. He probably lives in Massapequa.
Hey.
Yeah. That's only one toll though.
AC, you a nut.
D, you actually had your hand up before Jamel. You put it down.
Oh yeah, it went down because of it's gotta my thing's gotta stay open, so it goes down. Really quick, just let me say, we can tell about the discipline by where he was transferred. As you guys know, with the state police, and I can tell how bad a guy did by if he's up near the Canadian border. I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't a good one. He's up in the Bronx, the north end of the Bronx, at the call center. So we know how far that is. Let me say this. This was the argument during the election when it was amazing to me, and some people squinted their eyes. We as law enforcement, when we're in uniform or on the job in any capacity that you are, you don't show any affiliation. Here's the reason. When I walk out of the station and I got to do my job, I got to do my job for everybody, right? So my affiliation has to not walk out with me. I know some people think that's impossible, but we're grown-ups here. If I'm investigating a crime or I'm handling an accident or whatever I'm doing, I have to be down the middle, objective. So I can't be one side or the other. The problem with what's going on right now is people starting to feel emboldened. I can be in full uniform. And let me tell you about the state police uniform. It's gray for a reason. There's a reason it's gray, because it's a mixture of everything. That's why the uniform is gray. So if nothing else, that's a reminder to you. And you can't exhibit these views. Even you could feel that way. If you don't like D-Schoon, I'm good with you. I don't like D-Schoon sometime either. So we be on the same page. It's not crazy to say I don't like something or I do. But when you're in uniform, when you're wearing that white shirt, when you're responsible for the actions of so many people under you as a captain would be, you got to be smarter than that. Jim, you're absolutely right. Them balls need to come off. The uniform needs to come off. See ya. To me, doing that, especially now with the cameras around, is a job. And I don't want nobody's family to starve, but it's time for you to go. There's sometimes we used to say in the service, you guys know, some people just want to get fired. They start doing things and you look at it and you say, there's no reason, there's nothing about what you just did meant you wanted to come to work tomorrow. I get it. Nothing at all. You're saying I don't want to work. I want to go. I want to go fishing. I want to flip burgers. That's fine. I'm fine. But we have to be, as law enforcement, so you understand where we come from, as objective as possible, because you're put in so many situations where I can't have the idea that a person is this way or that way when I'm trying to save their life or find their kid or dig them out of someplace or whatever we might find ourselves in. We can't exhibit those nuances. We're an objective force. So when your union comes out for one guy or the other, that's absurd to me. Not that he came out after that guy. I got my issues. But that you would even say that. That you would even fix your lips to say, I want this guy. And if this guy loses, what's going to happen? You're not going to work? And we're all going to say you went after the guy that... No, you have to do your job. And I think a lot of people saying, well, he's just giving his own views. He doesn't have it. When you wear a uniform, you don't have any views. There's a lot of things you lose when you got your uniform on. I lose all my biases, my views. I lose all those things because you got a job to do. And this captain wasn't doing his job, and I don't think the Bronx is fun. I wish he was with the state police, because I would trucks to the left, cars to the right. That's where he'd be. I'm just
All right. Up next we have Jamel.
Yeah, this captain, he has many years of service, and I'm sure he knows right from wrong. And to me, this was just blatant that he knew he could not say the things he said while on duty, while in uniform, at a protest at Wyckoff Heights Hospital. Whatever his views are, whether they are indifferent or he opposes anything, you cannot spout this stuff while you're out there in the public's eye. So it's very, very unfortunate that the media caught hold of this to let our residents know that we have individuals on the police department that don't see the residents' same opinion. But, hey, listen, we need to weed out individuals like that from police departments who make it bad for everyone else who are out there doing their job and doing the right thing. So, sayonara, pal.
Yeah, we'll see if he leaves, or if he's forced to leave, or if they make him uncomfortable enough that he decides to leave. But
He going to the Bronx. He gonna leave on his own.
We'll see. But up next we have Rich.
Pension, y'all, and collect full pension, y'all. I'm just saying. Sorry.
Yeah. This guy broke the fourth wall. It's just like the military. I wore both uniforms, military and police. You can't be political. I mean, that's just basic. You follow orders. You're not political. You don't make political statements. You can do whatever you want on your off time, but there's limits to that as well. But in uniform, he was totally out of line. He should have just been fired, terminated. I just feel like the atmosphere of the current administration, people like someone said earlier, they're more emboldened to make comments like that. And he knows he's out of line, but he's emboldened, thinking, "Oh, nothing will happen to me. I'll make this statement and get this out." And later on, the guys will all, racist guys will all laugh later on, or the right wing guys will all get together, have a beer, and, "Hey, I said this on air." Ha ha ha. Yeah, well, it's not funny, and people don't feel that way. And like you said, the majority of political people in New York is Democratic, independent. You know, you're pissing off the majority of New Yorkers. So I think this is his last hurrah. I think he stepped in this time, and I don't think they're going to let this go. And my question to the panel, because I don't know a whole lot about New York police, I heard something about a captain's bureau. Is there a separate organization? I mean, like they have their own union.
They have their own union. They have the Captains Endowment Association. They have their own union. Yeah.
And that's separate from the regular NYPD police union.
PBA is police, SBA is sergeants, LBA is lieutenants, and then once you reach the captain, the rank of captain, deputy inspector, inspector, and then chief are all Captains Endowment Association.
Okay,
and the reason that they're all captains is because everything after captain is an appointment. So you're still by civil service rank, you're still a captain, but you've been appointed to deputy inspector, inspector, chief, assistant chief, deputy chief, chief.
Okay, my last question is about that. The Captain's Bureau, will the captains come to help you if you get in trouble, or they advise you, or is there something that they do at that level to shelter you?
Oh, sure. They take a collection as well, sure. Just like they would for a cop. They take a collection. Obviously, they have their own attorneys and everything like that. They have their own union delegates. They have their own attorneys. They have the same thing that every other union has.
Okay, thanks, sir.
All right. And up next we have Mark and then Sheesh.
So everybody's saying that captain wasn't thinking, but that goes on your resume as a plus if you're applying for ICE or some other type of government under this current president. So don't be surprised if he leaves NYPD and gets a nice job someplace else because the top guy says, hey, you stood up to him. Good job. I wouldn't be surprised. Just my opinion.
All right. I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mark. Not think about it that way. Everybody hit on the point. It's definitely a sense of, it's the environment that we're in now, the atmosphere, like you said, Rich, that they don't think twice about saying something like that, but because this is a captain, you know, he took tests to move up the ranks, so he knows the rules and regulations. He knows the SOPs. So he knew he could not say that, but like everybody's saying on here, it's the environment that we're in now. It's people feel empowered and emboldened to do and say what they want because they think they're going to get away with it, or like Mark just said, it's going to help you step up the ladder in another position.
And just explain what SOB is for us civilians.
SOP, a standard order of procedure.
There we go. Standard operating procedure. Yeah.
Standard operating procedure.
Yes.
You're messing me up now.
There we go.
Did I
And
say
JT.
SOB?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, that's my
we thought it
Spanglish.
meant something else.
That's my Spanglish.
All right. JT, you go ahead. You have your hand up.
Yeah. I never met the guy, the captain, but he got to be the dumbest captain on this earth. I mean, how do you say something like, I mean, I'm sure everybody has said something that they wish and prayed it wasn't repeated or videotaped about somebody, whether it was on the job, in family reunion, or what. I can't stand that motherfucking cousin of mine, You done said some shit like that. But he got to be the dumbest captain in the world. And it's time for him to go. But I just want to let everybody know, he's not the only one. He's not the only one that should go. There's a lot of cops on both sides. Whether the white, Puerto Rican, black, Chinese, Italian, then said something about somebody. They're out there. He just got caught.
Yeah, you're right. And it's interesting because the first thing I noticed was he had a very strong accent, which means he's obviously an immigrant. And as far as I know, Republicans supposedly don't like immigrants. So here's a guy that can't even stand for truly what he supposedly believes in. Other thing is, do you think cops in his command can get treated fairly? If he's the CEO of a command, or if he's the executive officer of a command, second in charge, and he knows certain cops are Republicans and certain Democrats, do you think they can get treated fairly?
Nope.
I don't see it. Go ahead, Mark.
I have to correct you on that. You said they don't like immigrants. It depends on which country you come from. Weren't they calling for South Africans to come not too long ago?
Yeah, and they let Ukrainians come as well.
Exactly. So we got to be careful with that. Not all immigrants.
Yeah.
They want to go back home. Some of them want to go back home.
Yeah, but I don't see how this guy could be in his career and be impartial moving forward. And obviously, if we look on social media, what some of the cops are saying, some of the retired cops, there's a whole lot of people saying some really, really crazy things on social media. And all the ones that are saying it are not retired. But they've been emboldened by social media. They've been emboldened by Trump's first administration, by his current administration. There's just, there's a lot of ways that they've been emboldened, and they're taking it and running with it. And I said a couple of weeks ago that once you reach the rank of captain in NYPD, they really don't fire you. You have to do something truly egregious. They will put you somewhere. They'll put you somewhere, and if you don't have enough time to retire, they will leave you there until you get the time, and then you can retire. So I don't know how much time this guy has, whether or not he can get frustrated quickly and walk out of the door because they put him far from home and he has to pay a toll or two, or if he has to stay there for a couple of years. But captains, they don't normally get rid of. Once you reach that rank on NYPD, you're pretty much protected. And up next, we have Will.
Points. There's no such thing as bad publicity. And now that this is in the mainstream media, this joker just aced an impromptu interview for a position in this presidential administration. Point blank, period.
DHS.
Yes.
Derek, can a captain put in for transfer?
No, I don't think so. Captains get assigned to where they need to be, and they actually get moved around. They get moved around according to the needs of the department, but I don't think a captain can request a transfer. If you get transferred somewhere as a discipline, you can't request a transfer anyway. You could put it on paper, but it's not going anywhere.
Okay.
So and one second, Mark. So normally a command is going to have one captain. So there's not really anywhere else for you to go unless someone gets promoted or unless someone retires. So requesting a transfer is pretty much, useless. And Mark?
Yeah, it depends on who they know. Don't forget that part. And you usually have one captain for every precinct, but then you have, like, I believe, a floating captain who's like the duty captain, who's got the whole borough. So there's other positions that they can stick them to. Maybe some units also have them too. It depends on the unit.
Each captain, like the captains from the different commands, whether you work in an administrative unit, like you could work in one police plaza or in a police academy, or you could work in a precinct. Each captain, one night a month, has to be the floater, and it's called being the duty captain. And usually a duty captain gets either a borough or two boroughs where they have to respond to anything serious that occurs that night. But you get that once a month, regardless of where you're assigned as a captain.
How does one captain run one precinct?
What do you mean, how does he run it?
There's 3 tours. He worked 24/7?
No, just like
he doesn't work 24/7, but he's in charge 24/7.
Just like
whoever the commanding officer is in charge of the command 24/7. They don't have to be there 24/7. You have guys get forced into retirement or get transferred because something happened when they were on vacation out of the country. you're still in charge of the command, whether or not you're there.
Right. You'll still have the lieutenant that'll be on duty for that tour, JT. But the CO of that command, he's in charge of that command, but he doesn't work all 3 shifts.
Right. And sometimes you could have 2 captains. You could have a captain that's the CO, and you could have a captain that's the XO.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
You said one captain. I thought it was.
And then sometimes you have an integrity officer who's a lieutenant.
That's a lieutenant, integrity control officer. That's the ICO, right?
And he floats. But just like in Hempstead, JT, you had the chief who was responsible for the police department, but he didn't work all tours.
No, but you only had one chief.
Well, it's the same premise though. It's just on a larger scale.
And JT, if you was the chief, they wouldn't make you work 24 hours.
No, but be responsible for 24 hours. You said a guy was in and he was responsible. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
You're responsible whether you're there or not.
Yeah.
Just like being a parent.
Yeah.
You're responsible for your kids, whether you're with them or not.
Just like
it's the same thing.
When you were in that unit, IU, who was responsible for you, whether they were there or not?
No fucking body. Ask them.
Whether you felt that way or not.
That's why I got kicked out.
There's one person that was responsible. Whether you felt that way or not is another story, brother.
I have a question, guys. I'm sorry. I have a question. I understand commanding officer, but what's the XO?
The XO is executive officer. That's the person under the commanding officer.
Executive. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, executive officer. Yes.
JT, you are stupid.
Hey, look. I love JB.
All right.
All right,
So-
Ty. That's why I met Ty. The real Ty. You know.
This is the fake Ty?
There's a fake Ty.
Necktie.
You damn
All
Skippy.
right.
I don't sure about
If
everything
we're done
else.
with this subject, then D can take us to the next one.
Yay.
All right, this the last one we're gonna do today is if you guys remember March 13th, 2020, Breonna Taylor was shot in her apartment after I believe the officers had the wrong place or they had the wrong information on the warrant. Well, apparently about a month ago, if I'm looking, the federal prosecutor decided not to prosecute the police officer. And what we always talk about is police officers go from job to job to job. This particular police officer, the cop who shot Breonna, was hired by another police department. Let's take a look.
This is why there's such a separation between cops and community. The officer who shot Breonna Taylor gets rehired at a police department basically down the street. Let's put up the pictures. Okay. Former Metro police officer Miles Carsgrove, the cop responsible for firing the bullet that killed Breonna Taylor in a Kentucky raid, now works just 1 hour away at the Carroll County Sheriff's Department. So this former Louisville Metro police officer, Miles Carsgrove, along with 2 others, was fired in 2021 after Taylor's killing in 2020. But he was never convicted, despite damning video and witness accounts. A 4th officer was allowed to retire after the shooting. So Thursday marked the start of his new job. Chief Deputy Rob Miller says, and I quote, "There will be opinions on both sides of the equation, but ultimately we're going to give him a chance." Well, isn't that so nice of you? Okay, so you hire a guy, you pay him taxpayer dollars. Let's keep the chief up. You give him taxpayer dollars, and your community should believe they are safer, even though he wrongfully killed a citizen. Okay? He was fired for violating police protocol. But you're going to give him a chance. Give him a chance to do what, Chief? Oh, kill another black person. Okay, I got you. So that's the chance you're giving him? Another opportunity, another crack at it? He says, We think he will help reduce the flow of drugs. That's what they said is the reasoning. We think he will help reduce the flow of drugs in our area and reduce property crimes. Miller, who has previously been accused of using excessive force on the job, told the Journal this. We felt like he was a good candidate to help us in our county.
Well, let's leave it right there.
Right. And as far as our hands go, we have AC, Mark.
I don't think I got this correct. This is Breonna Taylor. That's the young lady that was killed while in bed during a search warrant at the wrong address.
Yes.
Is that
yes?
Who was shot through a window?
Yes.
Or
where she was invisible.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So
Yes.
the search warrant is going to be better at help stopping drugs. But I guess by serving wrong search warrants and shooting people through windows, you can't see what you're shooting at.
He's good at
it. He hasn't stopped. All he did is kill people. He hasn't stopped any drugs. That search warrant. I'm sorry. This shit frustrates me. When someone could be so bad at their job that they got fired for a real reason, that you get a chance to do that job again and want you to double down, do it better at the same way. And you get paid by a pool of money of people who live there, expecting to get good police work or good sheriff work. I don't understand how that. I'm sorry. That just frustrates the shit out of me.
Imagine how the residents feel. Yeah. Up next, we have Mark.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep it real.
Uh-oh.
Everybody knows the Good Old Boys Club is alive and well, and they're gonna hang their hat on one thing: he wasn't convicted of it. So if he wasn't convicted of it, they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to take care of their own. That's the way it is, especially in the South. Like it or not, it is what it is. I don't agree with it, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's the way it should be. But the Good Old Boys Club, it exists in every police department.
All right, well said, Mark. Next, we have Will and then Jamel.
You all have probably heard me say this before. While we are all under the law enforcement umbrella, municipal agencies, with respect to local departments, municipal agencies and sheriff's offices operate very, very differently. The leader of a municipal department is a police chief that answers to town administration and or elected town officials. They are appointed. A sheriff answers to voting constituency. They win an election. Kentucky is overwhelmingly a conservative state. And there's a good chance, if not absolute, that this sheriff is probably a conservative leaning sheriff. And you got the opportunity to pluck this officer with 20 years of experience when most every law enforcement department is already struggling with staffing. And who are you going to be accountable to? You got elected. So you at least going to be in office until the next election. And I don't know about you all, but if you followed the elections, one of the most difficult incumbents to remove from office is a sheriff. I don't care. They could just about do anything they want to, but they are some of the most difficult incumbents to remove from office. So when you figure that they have the ability to walk in one day and say, you no longer work for me for one reason or another, they have the ability to influence their deputies to campaign for them by putting out signs of what have you. I do not like the word loyalty, because that means that at some point in time, there's a chance that you're going to expect me to do something that I can't do on my own conscience, because you expect my level of loyalty to you. I can't rock like that. But if you were to be able to track a number of these officers who find themselves losing a job in the municipal environment and then an opportunity to continue their career, I'd be willing to bet you money the overwhelming percentage of them went to a sheriff's office.
Right. Well said, Will. And up next we have Jamel and then AC.
Derek already said it. How does the residents of that municipality feel? I mean, the sheriff put it out there. We look to reduce the overflow of drugs and crime in this area. So he put on display the next individual that they hired, who was a former police officer who was involved in the incident with Breonna Taylor, and unfortunately, more than likely caused her death. So yeah, the residents of that municipality, I would imagine they're filled with fear, and knowing that, listen, we got somebody out here that will shoot first and ask questions later. So good luck with that. But I think it's wrong. There are many other qualified individuals in law enforcement who could be hired by that sheriff, but unfortunately, this is the candidate that he chose. I don't think it was a great idea. Thanks, guys.
Next, we have AC, and then we have Mark.
One of the residents of that community, so bad police work is bad for all, not just for minorities. It's bad for everybody in the community. It costs more money to fund for lawsuits and all that stuff, and more people get hurt. Bad police work is just bad for everybody in the community. I said he got not only because he shot someone and killed them, but he violated police rules. And so he's not going to stop doing that when he goes to a new location. That's a pattern. I can't get people to hire better people.
All right. And as far as the residents, if they're the same persuasion, it could be back to blue until it happens to you. Mark?
Yeah, that's what way I was thinking. Listen, they elected that guy. They know what he's about, and they think like him. Not all, but the majority. So they don't have a problem with him doing what he did. See, we're assuming that every place has intelligent people living there or non-racist people living there. But if you have a town that is very racist and this guy's promising to keep minorities out, they're going to support him no matter who he hires. And a person like this is a home run to them. That's it.
He's already done what they're looking to accomplish. So, yeah. And we are at our ending time, folks. D, I don't know if you have a good video to send us out on.
Always. This video I saw, it touched my heart, because what me and my partner do with our Cops and Teens program, kids that are out there doing what they're supposed to be doing and doing the right things, we find a way to reward them. Let's take a look.
Hi, I got my report card and I wanted to show you. And there's also another slip of paper that I wanted to show you as well.
Okay. Guys, this is Anaya. Last time she had a 98.
Yeah.
And this time she got a 99. 99.32.
Sheesh. Yeah.
And she told me she was going to push it.
I was going to push. I tried for the 100, but it ain't happened. So I'll settle it what I have.
What is this for?
That's the National High School Scholar Society or something like that. And I got it in the mail. My mom opened it before me, so it kind of ruined it, but it was all right. I was proud when I looked at it.
She's a scholar. That's a young scholar.
Wow, Anaya. So listen, today you're gonna get $100, right? And you're gonna get the $100 T-shirt.
Okay.
Listen, my brother just explained to me something.
Mm-hmm.
He pointed something over here.
Yeah.
There's a fee that you gotta pay for this, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? Alanak is gonna pay for it.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Yo, you really deserve this. Congrats on being a young scholar.
And grab whatever you want.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right.
Let's leave it right there.
Nice.
Let me say something really quick. When you tell the kids that don't expect anything, do what you're supposed to do, and then you reward them, you got to watch the kids around them when they see these kids getting rewarded for just doing what they thought was goofy. What they thought was they getting rewarded, and they're getting, they got people to call when they need help, and they're getting direction in the right way, and they, all of us got businesses. So it's good to watch those kids affect the other kids. It's a hilarious thing to watch. Those kids that thought they were cool, they got the braids going, and they got, the pants down, and they think they're cool. And then you explain to them what cool really is. Success is cool, baby. Listen, being able to pay these fees is cool. Getting these scholarships is cool. Hanging around here, hollering and screaming and acting like a fool. If you think that's cool, go ahead, enjoy yourself. But I just thought this was wonderful, and to tell all the kids, if we got kids watching, just do the best you can do. I'm gonna tell you, there's people watching. It might not come to you today, but somewhere down the line, because it happened to me, somebody gonna tap you on the shoulder and say, "I got you," and you're gonna life is a good place to be. That's all I got.
Good job, D. Good job.
All right. That was a great show, folks. Don, do you have anything you want to say to send us out, or you want to send us out in prayer?
Great job, Derek. Great job, Derek.
Listen, yeah, good. Derek, thanks for filling in. Well, thank you guys for filling in as well, because I couldn't be there because I'm at my state convention. But I already knew you guys could handle it anyway, so that's why I didn't say nothing last week. But thank you guys for doing that. My prayers really go out to Renee Henderson. Renee Henderson lost her mother on yesterday. She's with us every week. And I think she's on with us right now as well.
She was.
But, okay. But Renee, if you're listening, we're definitely praying for you. We're praying for all you guys. Derek did call you guys out. That's good, Derek. You poured onto all that stuff. You got Monique, Rich and Isabel. They got Cheech and Anna.
JT in Orlando. Yeah.
So listen, JT in Orlando, absolutely. JT is one of my faithful members, y'all. Y'all ain't know that, but he's one of my faithful members.
Fooled me last Sunday, Don.
Well, I was at another church, but I didn't go online.
I caught up with you, boy. This detective caught up with you.
You know I can't sit still. I got stuff to do, JT. But listen, thank you guys for joining, especially to our viewers. Thank you guys for joining and your input. I didn't get a chance to monitor stuff today because I'm actually working and you're ready to get out of here in a few anyway. But thank you so much again. I'm going to ask my friend, my brother,
Donald.
Yes.
Mother's Day Sunday.
Thank you so much, Jamel. Thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And when I say all the mothers, I'm not talking about biological. I'm talking about there are some women that stand in the role of mothers each and every day to a child that they did not birth.
Yes.
So I want to thank them as well. And listen, hope the men don't get mad at me, but I think some of these men that stand in as fathers and mothers. I'm dead serious about that because some stand in both roles. And I appreciate that, and I thank God for all of you for what you do. But to our women, especially to our mothers and our grandmothers, thank you so much. To my wife, Sylvia Butler, to your wives, To your wives, each one of your wives, I thank you for your wives. And like I said, it's not just about biological children, but some of us stand in roles as fathers and mothers to children we definitely didn't birth. And these always assisting kids in some kind of way. So I appreciate it. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for reminding me, Jamel. My mind is everywhere. Thank you for reminding me. Anyone else?
One more reminder. Sending hugs to Jerry. It's our anniversary today.
Yes.
Hugs to you, Jerry.
What is it for Jerry?
Anniversary.
Jerry, what is it?
My husband Johnny and my 49th wedding anniversary.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Jerry.
Congratulations.
We're
That's his
praying,
t-shirt. That's my man.
praying for you,
Y'all
Jerry.
can't see it, but that's him.
There we go. Now we can see it.
Okay.
When you got up there, we can see it.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And anything else? Anything else? Keep my family in prayer. You know, I mentioned pray for my brother. When we get off the air, I'll talk to you all a little bit, but pray for my brother and my family. All right. Reverend Cam. Oh no, there he is. Reverend Cam, you mind closing us out in prayer?
Thank you, Lord, for the information we received today. We are thankful for not only the marvelous information, things that we would learn. We are thankful for every house that's represented here. We pray for all of those who still have the memory of their mothers and their mothers who are existing.
All right.
We pray continually for the peace for Sister Jerry Barrow. We pray for her family. And now, Lord, we are thankful for, as we move forward, that we would always have a peace of mind. We asking that you would steady us in every way. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.